Hi, today we have my old friend on Twitter, Gagan. I'm really happy about that. Apke se ho, Gagan, which
I'm
is how
fine.
are
How
you?
about you? It's
Hacha, hacha he, which is good. I think. But,
you're speaking in Hindi.
yeah, I'm improving my Hindi so much. And
you know,
yes, so welcome here. We'll talk about history, Python, coding, but not only. I want to talk a little bit about music with him because I've seen something also on Instagram, also on Twitter. So this will be an interesting topic. And I have some other questions, but let's discover that in this interview. So, Gagan, how has been your day so far? Yeah,
uh, it's
how's it
been
going?
pretty actually. I have been nervous. What am I gonna talk about to Francesco? He's doing an awesome interview series. So I'm like, am I like really? I'm inspirational enough to be on this show, on
We
this
can,
series.
yeah, we can, yeah, all we can be so. And I know that just being here, you are already an inspiration, also for me. I'm really happy about that.
Thank you.
I have a question for you, maybe in the end, but let's start with your journey. I want to know a little bit more about you. We have been connected, I think, for one year, almost 1 year
Yeah,
now.
almost one
We are in
year.
2021. It's incredible, finally. Yeah, so yeah, please
Yeah.
talk a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a 22-year from Uttar Pradesh, India, and I am a graduate. I got my results like on 1st January,
I know
surprisingly.
that. I know that.
So
Congratulations on that. Yeah.
thank you so much. So, I like to code. I like to make music. I love listening to music, and that's why I was like, I want to be like him. I want to be that person who makes music. People are like, yay, on rave shows. They are dancing and they are so much into it,
Ah,
and everyone appreciates music. No, doesn't. It's more of a
exactly.
like universal language. There's no person who doesn't listen to music. Maybe
Yeah.
they don't prefer listening to music. There might be some people, but everyone listens to music at some point in
Yeah.
time.
It's
So I
universal.
was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I should get into it. Yeah. Let me start with how I got into coding.
Yeah.
Well, back in 2006, when in India computers were like new, at least when my parents got a computer, and I was like, man, this thing is cool. I should do stuff. And then I used to crash Windows. I was like randomly deleting files in it, and there was this guy who was like. I can reinstall it for you. And then he showed me how to reinstall Windows, and that's where some you can say interest began. Uh, this is interesting. Then I started playing video games. Then in video games there are like some modes you can say which let you hack into it, the video game that you are playing, and it actually got me pretty interested in it. Like for example, there's GTA San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas
I know
from
that.
Rockstar Games.
I know.
Yeah, it's a very famous video game. So there are many modes available online. It actually got me interesting how things work, how actually one makes modes into it,
Hmm.
how to actually change something which is already implemented by someone else. And it fed me, it actually made me curious about how things work. And then because of that curiosity, in 11th standard, I got into, like, I took computer science as optional subject. We have to
Mhm.
choose an elective, and I took computer science. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Also, I tried to avoid mathematics, because if I have to choose between mathematics and computer science, of course I will choose computer science. I don't like mathematics, it's not for me. At least I thought at that moment. But
Yeah.
when after 12th grade, I got into college, and I saw that, oh my god, this computer science is all about mathematics. And I was pretty
Sorry
like,
for that. Sorry for that. I did the computer science degree, and also I like math, so we can't be friends. Sorry. No, I'm joking, but of course, computer science. Maybe with
uh,
the name science in the name, you could have figured
true.
it out. And also about algorithms and other things. So this is funny. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, so I made a mistake. I didn't know there's a lot of maths in it, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna do whatever. Well, I have on my plate. I'm gonna do it. And then after 2 years of mathematics and a lot of programming, well, yeah, I got to talk about. Um, in my college, the syllabus is, well, it's actually the education system in India. When 12th grade person goes into college, he's like, "Ki, I'm gonna make applications, I'm gonna make video games," and then we get into college and we are like, okay, it's not gonna happen. Like, not at least in college. We have to do something by ourselves. Teachers are not
Exactly.
gonna teach us how to make video games or applications. They're gonna teach us the core concepts of programming. They're gonna teach us that. And the first language was C. And I was like, I have done
Oh,
computer science for 2 years in
Caesar.
Python. And yeah, I still remember the time when teacher told me that you have to swap two variables, the value of two variables, and I was like, okay, is C. What's the issue? I simply wrote one line of code: A equals to B, A comma B equals to B comma A. It's just one line of code in Python for swapping values, but in C, you have to use a temporary variable
Yeah.
for doing that. And I was like, okay, this is not interesting at all.
Yeah,
So
I think that going back to C when you have seen Python, it's very hard. So maybe it's better maybe when we are young and fresh. Yeah,
yeah,
get hit hard with C, and then when you see Python, you see such a relief. Instead, the opposite. It's very hard in my opinion.
yeah, it's quite intimidating. There were like kids who don't even know how to code, and they are, you know, they you are shown C programming language that you have to code in this, and they're like, is this coding? Is this programming? This isn't this isn't exciting at all. This is actually boring, and it's quite intimidating. How am I going to do it? But because of my Python computer science background, I had computer science with Python, so it wasn't that scary for me, at least not in the beginning. Then
Yeah.
uh, I managed to just pass the exams, and I was like, okay, I know bits of it, but it's not much, because if I am in college, they are not going to teach me Python. I have to learn it myself. I have to continue growing on it. So there's this hackathon in first sem. It was more like a coding competition, which they called a hackathon. Then I participated in it, and I made a friend who uses Linux. Actually, I'm not talking about Nirbhay. I'm talking about Sanchit. He is not really active on the internet, and
Mhm.
that's how I came to realize how important it is to have people in your connection who are into coding, who are actually doing something. you
Yeah.
know yeah, actually, he was the only friend I made there. He was like, he had like this very old looking laptop, which had Linux installed, and it was all like terminals everywhere. His
Mm.
desktop environment was like, you know I can't even code in that. He uses I think i3 or Awesome
Mhm.
environment, and it is quite intimidating. You have to use keyboard shortcuts in that. But anyway,
Mhm.
well, I realized that it is very important for people to have connections with the more developed ones who are into coding, who actually do something. Because in colleges, at least in my college, the environment wasn't there. The code culture was like non-existent. There was
Mm.
just like you have to do the assignments and then pass the exams, and that's all. You just get promoted to from one thing to another without actually learning the idea of it, like problem solving. It was more
Mm.
about fundamentals, and those fundamentals even were quite outdated, unfortunately. So yeah, actually, then of course, I realized it later that we can use internet like for learning anything. There are so many things one can learn if you want to get up to date without worrying about college. Because I am just an exceptional case. Okay, so I just used internet, and then I learned web scraping
Mhm.
with Python. Web
Mm.
scraping is basically extracting data from the web and saving it to some file or
Mm.
database. So I was like, yeah, I can simply, I explored web scraping with it. I automated, I made a Python script for automating Instagram. I could literally scrap the whole feed with a simple script, and I can simply get the pictures and, well, everything and the stories.
Nice.
So these simple things which I made out of curiosity, how I can do that with a programming language, made me learn so many things about Python.
Nice.
And because of my interest in Python, I actually made a lot of friends later. Like I was like in the first sim, when I saw the coding competition, I was like, yeah, there's something about it that we are actually seeing people code, working on something. But then I participated in a hackathon, and then I met Nirbhay. We were like complete strangers out of nowhere. We are like just meeting for the first time, and we are gonna make something out of
Yeah.
thin air. It is pretty
Yeah.
exciting and a bit
Yeah.
intimidating at first, but then after spending 24 hours in the same place where like 800 plus people were students were coding, working on something, building awesome stuff, it's really inspiring.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally. So
yeah, I asked you to join this interview since that day. So finally, I feel complete now because you have talked about this hackathon. It was one of my, I think, one of my very first interviews. Finally, you are here. Thanks for this because I was really missing a part in this series. So thank you so much, really, from the bottom of my heart, really. Yeah. So yeah,
yeah,
please.
so then I was like, okay, hackathons are good for us. And then later, after, well, my college was about to get, and then final exams were there. But before that, I realized that there are communities where one should, join a community, because the environment is, this coding culture in it. The people are actually coding. They're talking about new frameworks, new libraries, how to solve a problem in a different and more optimized way, in a good way. The one learns a lot with communities as well. So yeah, it kept me going. It kept me interested in this field of computer science and solving problems. And as a as a hobby, I used to make music because I love listening to music. I There's this video from there's a music video made by LSO Years. The name of the music video is LSO's Years, where he actually showed his life from how a keyboard was gifted him by his elder brother, and then he started making music with it, and then he started DJing, and then life went to their shit. But he still managed to, because he loved it, he started again. He sold his stuff and got into music production again, and then he became a DJ. And then there are thousands of people at the end of the video there. He's actually, playing his own music, and it was
Great.
so inspiring. It actually
Yeah.
inspired me a lot. Then there's
Yeah.
Martin Garrix. He's pretty famous.
Yeah.
He was like, he's like 1 2 years older than me. Okay, so he made animals while he was studying computer science.
Wow.
He made that. He was doing shows, but he was like, I can't do mathematics while I am doing shows. I am making
Yeah.
music. I can't do it. It's too much
Yeah.
for me. Then he convinced his parents. He left computer science and then joined a music school where people talked about plugins. People talked about, well, plugins are basically VSTs, virtual instruments, which can be used in your laptop. You can
Mm.
say VSTs are
Okay.
virtual instruments.
Nice.
So it's actually pretty. One can relate that. I saw there's a coding environment. People are actually coding around me. I get to talk about coding. I can learn a lot of things. Similarly, in music, you can learn a lot of things by talking to people who are into it, who are actually making it happen.
Mm.
Uh, and I found, well, you can say, when comparing it with coding, uh, well, what is coding about? You're basically building something from thin air. You just an idea. You know the techniques for implementing that specific idea. Like if you want to solve a problem, you implement something. If you are building an application, okay, then you you are actually building an application from an idea. You write it down, the requirements, and then start building on it. So I found it quite, like they're almost the same. These are very really vast fields. You
Yeah.
have to spend really a lot of hours working on it, and then you slowly start getting better at it. So I
Yes.
started making music as a hobby. Well, it's still a hobby actually. It's more of a side hustle now. So I started making music in like, I don't know, 12th grade with FL Studio. Once I told you that I use FL Studio for making it.
Mhm.
Though I
Yeah.
had I had the trial version, so I could never release it publicly because they don't really allow it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep it
Yeah.
to myself. I'm gonna work on it till I get, it was not like the end goal isn't specified. It is more about enjoying the process. Like
Yeah.
in coding, you have
Yeah.
to enjoy the process if you want to code. If you want to write good quality code, if you want to spend hours on it, you can't spend hours on it if you really don't enjoy the process.
Yeah.
So
I agree
yeah,
with that.
music is like that. And in music, if you aren't, actually enjoying it, if you are not enjoying making it happen, then the music is not gonna be, like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not good.
it's impossible. I think it's hard even with coding. In my opinion, with music is impossible. You need to like what you do. You can't create a very good music if you don't like that. Of course, but
Mhm.
you must be the very first person that like that really likes your music. You must be that. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, actually, I quite like the idea of making things happen from thin air. Just like, in programming, when you're a developer, you're confident enough that you can make your ideas happen, and make your ideas happen
mhm.
in reality. You can basically realize your ideas. That's what I'm saying. But in
Yeah,
music, you are actually, able to see the whole thing happen. It's I can relate actually music with web development. If
yeah,
you are using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you are building the site with like everything's moving. You are just saving the code and refreshing the web page. You are actually seeing what you have built till now. In music, it is very similar to that. You simply draw some melodies, add some beats, and then you hit the play button, and you actually see the things happen in real time what you are building.
yeah.
So
I like this.
yeah, it is a form of art. Even the HTML,
Huh. Yeah,
CSS people, the front end people are actually,
yeah.
I believe, they're artists because they are actually,
Really.
making things that other people can, they can use it. They can feel what it is. They can simply navigate to it easily without worrying about the implementation details. Similarly, it is music. People really want to just enjoy it. They don't care about the implementation
Yeah.
details behind it.
Yeah, yeah, usually or cards. Yeah, yeah. You can, yeah, you can, yeah, just use something without yeah, the meaning of no. Sometimes, as you said, by curiosity, you start getting used to how can could I do that? How could I enjoy maybe more? Maybe I think that when you listen to some music, it's a bit different from your side because sometimes you also think about how did they did that as a developer.
Yeah,
When we check on one site, we say, "Oh, this header is very good.
exactly,
Yeah, we have
exactly.
this technology. Yeah, we like the
Yeah,
yeah
when
that
when you
part.
are a builder, when you actually build things, you kind of, when you see something, some already built stuff, you kind of, get curious about how it's made, how it's implemented, the all the
Yeah.
details. Similarly, when I am making music, I am producing music, to be precise.
Mhm.
I kind of, when I listen to different kinds of music, I'm like, this is interesting. How did the artist even think of it?
Yeah,
How? Because, just
yeah,
like
it's
in
simple.
programming, yeah,
Yeah.
just like in programming, there are like some techniques, some rules you have to follow in order to make things. Music
Mhm.
is very similar to that. You actually, learn some techniques, but it is quite flexible how you fit those techniques into it. Because
Yeah,
nowadays, when we listen to the same kind of music over and over again, we kind of like, okay, this is getting boring. We want something new. We want a new artist
yeah,
who makes something different.
yeah.
It that that different comes from breaking those rules. In music production, people are breaking the rules every day for making something different. Sometimes the experiments are like, ugh. And then
This
sometimes,
is yeah. This is why they are experiments. Not every
yeah,
experiment it ends well. Yeah.
Exactly. And then there are people who just, make something incredible. That specific experiment is so good that you can relate to it. Music is actually more about emotions. Because if you're making music, you are basically, drawing something. You are putting those notes in a way that you can actually feel the vibe from it. Actually,
Yes.
I literally ask people to, connect with me on WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is pretty easy, convenient for me for sharing the music I listen to. I use SoundCloud because it's ad free, and because there are people who can simply upload music. They don't have to be like pro people. They don't need any distributor like AWOL or some other platforms. They can anyone can make music by simply getting a DAW. DAW is digital audio workstation.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, FL Studio is a DAW. Ableton is a DAW. I told you, no, FL Studio
Mhm.
is used for making music. Anyone can make music, and it's pretty fun. Just like programming. If you really don't like what you're doing, you're not gonna be good in that specific thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually about having fun. And then there's also one thing, being consistent. I realized in this time of pandemic that how consistency actually affects us. If you are consistently doing something bad, okay, so you get terrible results at the end. Say if you are consistently procrastinating every day, you will get bad results at the end. But if you are consistently working on in a right direction, in a direction where you can land up something, you can actually make something happen, then consistently actually makes actual things better. You are actually able to see the results by being just consistent. I believe there's this book, Atomic Habit. It's more
Yeah.
about implementing little habits which we consistently do every single day, and then we are able to see the results at the end. Those results, well, they are actually pretty big. So for some people, it depends on what you are doing basically.
Yeah.
So for the 3 years, I consistently made projects with Python. I built web scrapers. I built automation stuff.
Yeah.
I automated my operating system, and I, you know, just for fun. For the coding experience is for personal projects. I worked for like 1.5 year, 1.5 months in an internship 2 years ago, and it was also about web scrapping. And I wasn't actually, like I wasn't trained for it or anything. I was just like, you have this task, you have to do it. And I was like, it's nothing from me, man. I am enjoying this. I like to do this thing. I'm gonna do it. And I did it, and I got money for it. But yeah, I had fun. I learned a lot of things. When you're consistently doing something and
Yeah.
it's in the right direction, it gives you good results. Simple as that.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. I totally agree with this. I also think that there are some days that we feel very energetic. We can do everything, and there are some days when you really feel lazy. And it's what we do. You do when you really feel that you don't want to do that. That makes
Yeah,
the
it
difference,
happens a lot.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because if you feel good, if you feel in the right mood, everything is easier. When is not. That makes the difference. If you keep
Yeah.
going when you don't feel that, and with discipline, in that case, you really make the difference, because maybe the day
Mhm.
after you feel bad, you feel good again. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's it. So in my opinion, yeah, I
Yeah,
try
Nirbhay, you
more.
are absolutely right.
Yeah, and I think that this works almost with everything. For example, for example, I can take my example. Maybe I'm kind of doing this kind of interviews now, and by doing this every day, I'm improving. I hope that I've improved a little bit. I know, yeah, and also I do this because I like to connect with people. So yeah, everything. And I was not that super communicative person. So I really, and I want to show this.
Yeah, you call yourself intro tuber, I guess.
I want to show this because I want to see people see that they can do actually can do this. I'm not a super special. I'm not an actor, a journalist. I'm just a developer who just I don't know, by random for random things that happen. I started to do this, so I'm trying to show. that yeah, maybe it's a bit awkward for me, but it's not really a problem because I can, if I, as we said, if I can show this to people, if this is helpful to someone else, yeah, I can just let it go. And so
Thank
yeah,
you.
so I really want, and I wanted so to ask you something now, because when I
Mhm.
asked you, I know that maybe this has not been so easy for you. So can you talk about, for example, doing something that is not easy for you? Instead, you have to talk about this today. So can you speak about? Can you talk about this? What do you think
Uh,
about doing something that
okay.
you are not comfortable with? Yeah.
Well, that's a really good question, actually. Sometimes it just gets too much, when you are actually doing something each and every day. You are like, I'm done with it. It's getting, I'm having this feeling of monotony that, it's getting bland. But yeah, you just, it's more about actually if you care about the end results. If you are, doing something each and every day, doesn't matter what you feel, and then, you will get to see the end result. The ultimate goal will be accomplished. It's pretty hard, when you are not in the mood, you are not you are completely exhausted, and you have to do it. Actually, it's more about the priorities. Like, if you're willing to do it, for example, if you're working, if you're having a job and you have to do something, and you have this deadline, like on, like, Friday. Say Friday is the deadline and you started on Monday. You Doesn't matter what you do, you have to do it. It doesn't matter what you feel. The employer will not care about it. He wants the end result of it. He wants the task to be ticked. He wants it to be
Yeah.
accomplished. So yeah, if you're actually working in a company, you tend to do it anyway. Doesn't matter what you feel. So uh, if we actually, if we are even not working for something else, we just have to think about the end result, that we have to do it. We have to just look at the end goal, and just have to keep moving. That's the thing that actually worked for people who accomplished something in their lives. They kept doing it again and again and again in the right direction. Again, the consistency plays an important role in it.
Mm.
Say I I started making music, and I casually make music. I'm like, if I have this vibe, I have to do it. I have to implement it. Like right now, I have to do it, and then I simply start implementing it in my Ableton, and I'm like, okay, this is good. This is because I know it feels
Yeah.
good when you are able to implement it. I'm gonna do it again to get that feel good thingy again. I have to get that dopamine spikes. I have to
Yeah.
keep doing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Eh,
matter if I am like, um I'm not feeling it. Okay, simply do something else, which in a productive way. You have to be productive. If you're not, actually, it is more about changing tasks too. If something gets too bland for you, it is getting monotonous, then you do something to make it more challenging or exciting. I I when I used to procrastinate, well, everybody procrastinates a lot, like in some time.
yeah.
And that, so yeah, I used to when someone is procrastinating and he she has YouTube, what do? They simply search how to not procrastinate. So
Yeah, and you
that's
start
what I do
yeah, and you start watching videos about how to not procrastinate, and
by
probably
procrastinating.
probably in some of those videos there is written, yeah, they say don't watch just videos, and you are watching that video in that moment, so you really feel
Yeah,
bad. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. So
yeah.
this video by, I think the name of the YouTuber is Matt Devil. I'm not
Mhm.
sure what exactly the surname
Mhm.
is, but anyway, he made a video on how not to procrastinate. He actually told the audience that you for not procrastinating. First, he told the reason why we procrastinate. Either the task we are going to do is either too boring or too difficult. So these are the two main reasons we all procrastinate. So how to deal with it? uh, well, for dealing with it, simply, if the task is too difficult, break it down into the smaller steps bit by bit, and
Yeah.
then simply start smashing the goals. And if the task is too easy, if the task is too easy, make it a little bit challenging. I believe I
Yeah.
got the reasons wrong earlier.
Yeah, yeah,
The two reasons are,
I totally agree with this. If there is something
mhm,
that is too easy, I tend to don't do that. So yeah, I'm still in that way. So I really need something challenging. So also this is why I do challenges, because I need to do something difficult. Otherwise, I get really bored and I don't do that. So I know that maybe this could sound strange, because it says if it's easy, you
no,
can just do that.
actually, it's human
for
nature. We
me
like
for me
challenges.
for me it's very hard to do something which is easy, because I tend to procrastinate, to put at the bottom of my priorities, so I don't do that. So yeah, so I
Yeah.
really can really understand these concepts, because yeah, it hurted me also in the past. Sometimes when I have something that's very easy, I tend to say, oh, I can do this tomorrow, it's so easy. So I really can
Mhm.
understand this. Thank you for
Yeah.
pointing this out. Yeah, 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 Gagan. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
so we
And
have to,
mhm,
so I was making these to-do lists every day. I am talking to Nirbhay and Sanchit. We are like, well, we used to talk like almost every day, and in the evening,
nice.
I am taking a walk in my garden, and then they are doing something
That's
else,
insane.
and we are actually talking about life. We are talking about development, because they are my hackathon buddies. They are my programming buddies. So we talk about like, we can implement that, we can implement this, we can work on this specific project. Isn't that specific library cool, or how is it? We actually talk about that, used to talk about that. Um, so um,
Mhm.
you can say that it actually helps, you, if you share a problem with them. Like, if you are facing something that, for example, because they are my buddies, and I tell them that I am not able to accomplish it, what am I doing wrong? Because when we all know what we are doing wrong, yet we actually ask others, our friends, so that we can have a different perspective over this
Yeah,
problem.
feedbacks.
Yeah, and then while we are explaining the problem, we are actually finding the solution ourselves,
I
that
know,
this is
I
the
know,
thing I
I
am
know,
doing wrong.
I know this, I know
Yeah,
this. Yeah, yeah, I
yeah,
know
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I was like, I was talking to Sanchit, and I was like, I am not able to accomplish my goals. I make a to-do list every single day, and then I look at it, and I'm like, I can't. I am just way too lazy for it. And he was
Mm.
like, you have to, Sanchit, he's told me, you have to find a reason. If the reason for doing that specific goal isn't
Yeah,
too strong, the reason, the why, if the why isn't too strong, you will tend to, not do it, or lose motivation for doing it. So you
yeah,
have to be, yeah, sure what you are implementing, for what
mhm,
you want to do.
yeah.
If,
Some yeah,
if you are willing to do it.
yeah. Sometimes I think that sometimes we tend to forget the why. So we start doing something because we have maybe something in our mind. And after a while, sometimes we forget. Sometimes it's useful to remember to ourselves, why am I doing this? So as you said, when we feel bad that we can do that, how was in the beginning? Why I did get started? So to really find maybe the I don't know the initial reason of doing that, because we really need a reason to do something. Yeah, this can be applied to
Yeah,
almost everything, development, but also life. So to almost everything can be
yeah,
applied there,
exactly.
and it works. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, have you ever thought about merging this music and development skills that you have? Have you ever thought about
Actually,
that?
yes, I
Because
did.
sometimes it can be hard, but for example, could be good. For example, I don't know if you ever done.
No, actually,
Hmm.
when I was looking for some free digital audio workstations, DAWs,
Mhm.
because I was like, I am done with FL Studio. I want to actually make, I want to release my music on different platforms. I want to
Mhm.
make things happen so that other people can, go and listen to them. And if they vibe it, they will share it with others as well. If they are actually, vibing the thing. So I wanted to make things happen. So I looked for free digital audio workstations, and then I saw people who made LMMS. It is basically an open source digital audio workstation, and I was
Nice.
amazed how things they are basically like FL Studio but free. But of course, when we are talking about open source, the interface is quite intimidating, and you have to do more stuff. In the proprietary softwares, they simply give you features, but they do many things for you already, so you don't have to worry about stuff. But in the open source softwares, it is more like you have to worry about more things which we didn't even realize that this specific problem existed in the proprietary softwares.
Yeah,
So yeah, I look for free softwares, free
nice.
open source softwares, and to be
Yeah,
honest, I was surprised how things work. And before
yeah.
doing that, I actually was like, I want to make music with programming. I'm gonna try it. And then I checked out SonicPy. I believe it's SonicPy, and it is
Okay.
basically you can literally program music. You can simply
Ah,
specify you. I think it's
yeah, this
coding
is
in
a
Ruby.
yeah, this is a project on GitHub, SonicPy. Maybe
Yeah,
I've
I
checked
believe.
this. Yeah, I found this maybe I don't know some months ago. Now that I remember this, I don't know if this is interesting, but I don't know. I don't know if you have
You
checked
have to
that.
SonicPy is a project. I don't know exactly what how it works, but I do remember that you have to code. You can specify how long a beat is gonna play and that specific time. Literally have to code it out, and you can literally when you run the code, you are able to listen to beats. You're basically coding the beats. So I was
Nice.
like, oh my god, we
It's
can
a
do
good.
that.
It's a good
Yeah.
idea. I don't know. Maybe it's. I think, for example, I think that this Sonic Pi thing can be super interesting. For example, in a live stream. So, for example, because if you try to do something, in the people are maybe they are in chat, they can interact with you. Like try with something different. Try with that number. That could be very super interesting, in my opinion. And you are also coding, so I don't know if this can be idea for you to start. But
It's
because
pretty interesting.
sometimes I think that if you code, you need to get your audience, interested. I tried, for example, live stream yesterday, but with Docker, it's hard to get, to get the people interested because you are showing something. It can be super useful, but you miss
Mhm.
that entertainment part. So you need to do something. I don't know. In this case, with music, I think that this could be an idea. I hope that this could be because could
Yeah,
get really
actually,
interested
people who
into
are
that.
into coding, yeah,
Yeah,
people who are actually into coding can get, they are like, if they are, like curious about how we can actually code music.
yeah,
It
that.
actually, how to code in music. The title itself sounds interesting. Like it makes some developer curious.
Yeah,
Wait,
if you,
we can code
yeah.
music?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if
So
you, if you want, we can also do this. I don't know, together. Maybe we can interact if you want. If you
uh,
want, it could be an idea. I don't know. I don't know. We will see.
um,
We
yeah,
have
we will
plenty.
see.
We have plenty of time. This 2021, but I think that music
Uh,
can be useful in any way. You can put this in background in your videos. You can use this,
yeah.
in some other in some so many ways that music is never useless. It's always useful in some ways. Yeah. So
No,
thank
I
you.
have this thing you said that free, it reminds me of the free softwares. When we usually download free softwares, we are like, okay, this is getting things done. Okay, so what? But we don't really, literally, usually appreciated it the way I do now, because there's someone who spent hours working on this specific open source project, and it is actually helping me out. He tried solving problem of his own,
Yeah.
and then he's like, I'm gonna share it, I'm gonna make it free so that others can solve that specific problem as well. And we are like,
Mhm.
this is just a software, it is the interface is terrible. What am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
I would rather buy, I would rather buy some proprietary software. But when people should actually start appreciating free softwares. I realized it more when I was using DAW for making music. I'm using DAW for making music. there are a lot of sounds playing constant in that specific time frame. There are a lot of sounds, there are a lot of layers vertically aligned. So if you are listening to, like, well, basically, in short, there are a lot of sounds playing at one single moment, and one should, if you are not a developer, you wouldn't actually, notice this specific
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah. Yeah.
as a developer, when you are actually developing something, and you know how difficult it is to make it, optimized so that it can work on normal laptops and computers, and you realize that how optimized it is like using so much less space, and then it is actually getting things done. It is so smooth, and people really don't have to worry about, like, the performance issues if they are building something from scratch.
Yeah.
So, and if it's open source like LMMS, there are of course some performance issues, because if someone is contributing in open source, well,
Yeah.
developers are usually doing it in their free time, or the developers aren't really motivated to work on open source projects, because they really don't get much from it. They're just like, yeah, I'm just simply contributing it and then I'm done. Whereas when we talk about proprietary softwares like FL Studio, the
Mhm.
developers get paid a lot because it's a professional software. So yeah, like, open source softwares actually are so good, like, for
Yeah.
let's talk about the contributions, not even
Yeah.
open source, just freeware stuff. Like, people have contributed, if I am making music, what I am looking for is good sounds, good samples, you can say. Samples
Mhm.
are basically sounds, like kick, like clap, these are samples, okay?
Yeah.
So when you're making music, you want good samples. When I googled stuff, there are a lot of people who are, just like giving it away, the premium sounds that actually are, worth a lot.
Yeah.
But people are so, yeah, if you this reminds me of the open source course I did on Coursera by Linux
Mhm.
Foundation. They actually said, if you want to get into open source, you should have a big heart. They said that, like that.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you if you care about the credits and stuff, it's not for you. But if you are like,
Yeah.
I have to solve this problem, I want to help others, I want to do something, I don't care much about credit, or if my code gets deleted or something,
Yeah.
then
And
open source is for you.
yeah, and I had the honor to have on this channel Hedi Jahude, which is the GitHub star of the year
Okay,
2020. So I
that's
am
awesome.
really, yeah, yeah. It has been really awesome to talk with him about open source and contribution. So it's really, yeah, a master in this by getting also this great, incredible award. Yeah, thank you, Gagan, for all your knowledge. You look very good in camera. You look so spontaneous, so
Thank you.
natural. So I don't really don't know why you did it was so hard for you, because sometimes it's like going to the gym. It's hard to get there, but once you get there, you feel very comfortable. So this is the impression that you are giving now to me. So maybe now that you are into the gym, it's easier for you now that you get started.
Yeah, exactly.
If I, yeah, if
For
I
some people,
yeah, yeah, if I
yeah,
help you maybe just a little bit, I would be really happy, because you look good on camera. You speak very
thank
natural. I
you.
really like your way of talking. Yeah, you're talking perfect English. Yeah, so
Thank
I
you.
wish you the
Yeah,
best in making. And once you say, trust me, when you start making videos, you can stop as I'm doing now. And yeah, and just yeah.
actually, I have been, watching these YouTubers making content, and those people who just getting started with, making creating content for YouTube. I have actually made video blogs, not exactly video blogs. I literally titled them some kind of video blogs. So I used to, I travel a lot in Delhi. With either my parents or my friends, I used to travel, and I like photography as well. uh,
No.
i like to I like to record stuff as well. When I'm going somewhere, I'm traveling, I tend to record it. So I was like, I need a way to present it to the audience. I want to show these stuff to the world. what I'm making. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how many
Yeah.
people see at a specific time, but I'm like, I'm gonna show
Yeah.
it anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that got me into, it's actually became a hobby, and I started taking more pictures and more recorded more videos. I have like tons of videos stored in my phone and laptop and external hard disk or whatsoever. But I'm like, if I want to show this to the world, I need to make it presentable, because when you get to know a lot of things about how internet works, how social media works.
Yeah.
The social media has actually ruined our attention span. People just check out something for like 2-3 seconds. They're like, if they like what they're seeing, they simply hit the like. They don't even care to check out the whole content. Some
Yeah.
do, but mostly people are like, I'm gonna scroll it away. if
Yeah.
if this looks good in the beginning, I'm gonna double tap it,
Yeah.
hit the
Yeah.
like button.
Yeah.
So it actually made me like, if I want to show something to the world, I need to make it look good. And
Yeah.
this stopped me a lot. This thought stopped me a lot from
Yeah.
sharing stuff online, especially videos,
Yeah.
because in pictures are not very difficult for me to edit. They simply have to adjust the contrast, make it look good, adjust the colors, and voila, you are having a perfect Instagram ready photo, which we can
Yeah.
say maybe it is different from reality, but it looks good. And
Yeah.
I like the way it looks. I don't care about how people think it looks. I'm like, I feel like it's good, I'm gonna share it. But
Yeah.
in videos, you have to make things perfect, because if the video is not recorded perfectly, if you're not speaking fluently, or you're because when I to be honest, I am pretty nervous while making videos. When I literally had a conversation with Nirbhay on phone just before this interview, and I
No.
was like, man, I'm pretty nervous. What if I not speak English fluently? What if I sound silly at at a
I.
specific moment? What
I.
Because I have this fear, like,
Yeah.
for example, if I'm conveying a thought, and if the right words don't come out of my mouth, I'm like blank. I don't know what to say. I
Yeah.
usually, when I'm
Yeah.
talking to
But
my friends,
yeah, but
you know,
yeah, but this is also why I like to do this kind of stuff with two people. So if you get stuck, I can say, Gagan, I'm here. We can make another question. I can make a smile. So it's easier. With two people, it's easier. For example, way easier. I've tried also to
yeah,
do some live stream alone. I mean, yeah, it went pretty well, but because I really knew the topic, but it's hard to
okay,
do. So this is also why I'm doing this kind of stuff with two people or even more people. So yeah, so thank you really for this. I'd like just to leave you the opportunity to leave a final message to people. Now we will say goodbye, and also, but before this, where can we find you? Where can we follow you? We'll put the links in the description. Please follow Gagan.
all right.
Yeah, where can we find you? And then a message. Yeah.
Okay, well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I share a lot of pictures on
Mhm.
Instagram. I'm gonna start sharing music as well, because I got to my like, I was amazed when I shared music. I shared how music is made on my Instagram stories, and I thought people wouldn't react on it. It actually initially
Mm.
did it, nobody reacted to it. I spent hours working on something, and people were like,
No,
next. They're like that, nobody reacted to it.
it's
But
normal.
then slowly, I recently made a beat, and I showed the process again after, I don't know, like nth time.
Yeah.
People were like, man, you made this thing in 25 minutes, how did you do it? This is so dope. And then, yeah, I was like, if some people actually are getting interested in it, I can share it and then see how it goes. So I'm gonna use my Instagram for sharing my music as well. Though I share a lot of, I'm so crazy about music, sharing about what vibes I'm getting from it. I literally randomly shared you the music. You
Yeah,
must have
that's
remembered.
it. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, what what is this? And I was like, it's music, it's good, you should listen to it.
Yeah.
So I love sharing the vibes. So if you want to, well, connect with me, if people want to connect with me for seeing my pictures, my photography, my casual photography, you can see, is a hobby. Music production is a hobby as well. So you can follow me on Instagram. And if you want to see my tech stuff. I share Python, specifically Python related stuff, because that's the only language I can say I know that I am comfortable working on it, and I am like intermediate at it, from beginner to intermediate level, and I like to work on it. So I share Pythonic stuff and things I find on the along the way, that this specific tech thing is cool. I can share it. So I want to share it with people who actually get it, who find it valuable. So I use Twitter for that. uh,
Perfect. 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 Thank you, Gagan. So, yeah, before saying goodbye, and sad because I'm gonna leave you, but maybe we will meet in the future. But I want to give you maybe, yeah, to say maybe something to end this very great conversation. You did already great, but if you want to say
you.
something else, you can. Yeah, you can. Please. Thank you.
Well, uh, there are n number of things which can be, like,
Mhm.
we literally know a lot of things, like what you're doing wrong, and what how you can actually solve the specific problem you're facing in your day-to-day life. I would say, but we just need a reminder. Sometimes we just are looking for a reminder, for someone to remind us that, yeah, we are not that, actually we can do something. It's not like, you know you know what should I actually give a message? I'm thinking. I can say that if you consistently work on something in the right direction, because direction is
Yeah.
very important, and it doesn't matter what, you're not seeing the results in the beginning. Well, trust me, you won't see the results in the beginning. You will see the results when you are doing it again and again and again
Yeah.
in the right direction. After a while, it can that time can be a month, can be 6 months, can be a year, can be
Yeah.
5 years, but you will definitely see the results. So
Yeah.
whatever you are doing, just do that specific thing in the right direction. And
Yes.
well, time of
Yeah.
pandemic, I learned how to waste time. Like, I was curious, how, like, I literally found how I waste time. I watched a lot of web series to cope up with the things going on, because people are like dying from the pandemic. This panic going on around the world. So everyone has their own coping mechanism, and I found the web series helped me a lot. But it when you do something for 21 days straight, it starts becoming a habit. So yeah, I got this habit, and then I realized later that it's a terrible habit, that I am wasting my whole day on web series. So
Yeah.
I should get back into the game, that what I like. Because if I want to see things happen, if I want to say, if I want to be a DJ, for example, if I want to make everyone dance on my beats, I have to work on my thing. I have to start learning how beats work, how what is BPM and whatnot stuff. So you have to consistently do something. I consistently wasted time in the wrong I watched a lot of web series, I watched a lot of movies. So I got the end result that I it left me nowhere, it gave me nothing, but a lot of you know
Yeah. But
regret. So I was like, I'm done with it. I'm gonna focus on my life. I want to make things happen. If you want to be a good coder, you just have to code daily, consistently. Or if you can't code daily, okay, it's okay to take a break. Don't overdo anything, because I actually did that mistake too. And when my final exams were over, I wasted a lot of time. No, I actually spent a lot of time doing courses, and I got into tutorial hell, and it left me exhausted.
yeah,
So
I know.
I was like, take a break. Then I started talking about breaks on Twitter. So everyone was like, take a break. But what should we do in breaks? Nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
And I tweeted that, and it shot up. A
Yeah.
lot of people responded. A lot of awesome people.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, if you just have to consistently work in the right direction, take breaks. Those breaks shouldn't, mess up with your routine. They should actually help you to in your specific thingy that you want to accomplish. And also make friends, make a lot of connection, make some quality connections. Number isn't the thing, the quality matters. If you have like 4 or 5 friends who are actually
Yeah.
helping you out, they are doing their thing, and they are actually supporting, and they are
Exactly.
giving you advices that you have to uplift yourself, you have to do something with your life. So then those friends are really important for you.
Yeah.
in this thing.
Yeah.
Also join communities, participate in hackathons, and if you just do whatever you like to do, don't push yourself at the, was like you're like, I'm done, this is getting too much. Take breaks,
Perfect.
consistently work on it in the right direction.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, really. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm speechless because you did a very great, yeah, call. We are very. It seems that you are like I don't know, a YouTuber which has been with years of experience to me. Yeah, but yeah, you're
Thank
just
you.
starting with go, and that's it. So, thank you, Gagan. Yeah.
Thank you so much
So
for
see
inviting me
you
in
on
this.
Twitter. Follow him on Twitter. He's very good. He's very friendly guy. You'll
Thank
never
you.
regret that. Yeah.
Thank you.
So we are done for today. Yeah. Bye bye.
All right.
Bye bye.
So bye
Namaste.
bye.
Bye.
Namaste.